Hi everybody, welcome to the first episode in English of the Echoes of Carmen podcast. And I just want to really let you guys know that I'm very grateful for all of your attention and your support. It really warms my heart. Let's begin with this. The very first story, it's called I Live When My Purpose is Fulfilled. It's anonymous. It starts with, a client of mine once arrived with an unbelievable story. Everything starts when a lady that she once knew went to the hospital to die there. She was given the diagnostic of pancreatic cancer when her daughter had just received a scholarship to study abroad, but was at risk of not taking it because she had a daughter, to which the lady had offered to take care of so her daughter could finish her studies and her career. Given this, she never went back to the doctors because they only gave her about 2 to 3 months to live. Her daughter graduated, took her child with her, and once that happened, the lady was free of responsibilities, so she decided she could pass away now. That's how she ended up in the hospital, demanding to be hospitalized 15 years later, after her very first diagnosis. The nurses and doctors first were telling her to calm down and told her that she can't be hospitalized yet until they run a few studies, since they don't know what could be wrong in her health. They ran the tests and they hospitalized her. A few days passed when they realized that not only did she have pancreatic cancer, but she also had cancer all spread completely over her body and self. She was full of it. The doctor asked her how she knew she was going to pass away. She answered, "They told me 15 years ago I had pancreatic cancer and that I only had 2 to 3 months of life left." To which I said, "That's impossible. My granddaughter needs me. I can't live yet." And I never went back until now. Everybody was in awe, in disbelief that she had survived all this time and raised a kid all together. She passed away after a few more days in the hospital, with the comfort of having fulfilled her mission in life, which was to be there for her family. Also, people that had pancreatic cancer, one of the nurses that was in this story also said that people that have pancreatic cancer only have a few weeks left whenever they get diagnosed. So it's a miracle that she lived for 15 years even after, just to fulfill her life, like her mission in life, which was to take care of her granddaughter, so her daughter could have a better life. It's just crazy. I don't know if I have a mission in life that will wake up such a dedication in me. I hope I do, but this is just surprising, motivational. It's crazy. The second story, it's called The Day I Couldn't Take My Drug, and it's anonymous as well. This happened while I was living in Los Angeles, and I was having a double life, pretending to be a Christian and being a drug addict. When my wife and her daughter used to go on vacations and trips, I would use that time to take my weekly doses in peace and in comfort. Until one time, before I took a hit from my pipe to get the crystal, I started hearing the daughter of my wife sing, to which I went around the house looking and checking that I was truly alone. I checked. There was nobody at home but me. I went ahead again to try to smoke some crystal, and before I took the hit again, I could hear her sing one more time. I went again and checked her room. There was nothing again, and the singing had stopped. I proceeded to try to smoke about 10 more times, and every single time I tried, I would hear her sing one more time. Each time I checked, the singing would stop, and there was nobody nowhere. I checked everywhere. I felt as if I was losing my mind and that maybe they were playing a joke on me. In the last time I tried and also gave up trying to smoke that weekend was when I went to check and the singing continued. It came from her closet. I thought to myself, I got her. I'm about to ruin the joke they keep doing to me. But to my surprise, the closet was empty, and I could hear the singing while there was no physical or spiritual body visible to me. I could only hear her voice, but nothing, and no one was there. I felt terrified. I threw my weekend drugs away that time in my fear of what I had just lived and couldn't comprehend. When they came back from her trip, my wife saw how scared I kept acting and looking. I didn't even know how to tell her she didn't even know I did drugs. It had been my big secret for most of my adult years. After a couple of hours, my wife asked me, "What's wrong? You don't seem right. You're pale and you keep acting weird." I took courage and I told her what had happened. In tears, she just laughed and I was happy I couldn't use the substance. She ended up telling her daughter about it, and her daughter was so happy. She responded to her mom, "Praise God." My prayer for when I worship is that people that can't listen to worship music or that needed comfort at the time could hear my voice and know that God is speaking to them, trying to reach them and give them peace. They were grateful and amazed, but I was still terrified of that moment. Of the moment I had experienced. So I stopped using drugs for a while, but relapsed months later. Not like 𝒂𝒂, but I have been sober for a couple of years now. That moment is always present even until this day, and it's a big reason why I stopped smoking altogether. I couldn't get high without remembering that experience, without remembering how the presence of God was there. I've got nothing to say, but this is completely beautiful, and I love stories like this. Especially when it comes to addictions. Number 3, it's called Defending My Mother. It's an anonymous, and it starts. When I was 4 years old, my family and I lived at a corner out of 4, which altogether will make a cross intersection. The corner crossing the street from our house was an empty lot where the fair would come once a year. They used to sell pancakes, hotcakes, however you guys call it, in one of the shops at the fair. My mom felt lazy about cooking and took me to get the food for us. There was a couple arguing beside us in another shop from the fair. The guy started hitting the girl, and my mom still felt the urge to tell the guy, "Hey, don't treat her like that. Treat your girl kindly." To which, ironically, the girl that was getting bit yells at my mom, "Don't be noisy. He's my husband, and he can do whatever he wants, even so if he wants to end me." Then the guy looked towards my mom. Sorry, guys. Yes, towards my mom, made eye contact, and started to yell at her. "The one I'm going to end is you for being so noisy," with fury in his eyes. My mom was pregnant at the time, but however she could, she started running toward the house and the guy behind her. What they didn't know is that I was faster, and I got to the house before them too. Got a revolver we had at home for protection. Since my dad used to travel a lot due to his merchant profession, we were alone. I got in the door, standing firm, pointing towards the gate. My mom got inside the house, and the guy was running as if he was possessed, looking for blood to spill. As soon as he passed the gate, he saw a hat again and stopped running with all of his power as fast as he could. I yelled at him, "You dare to take another step, and I'll end you." I was only 4. He said, little girl, be careful, be careful. You don't know what you're doing. You can kill me, little girl. Calm down, don't play with that." As he was saying that, I removed the automatic lock of the pistol. He kept walking backwards while keeping eye contact with me. As he was leaving, I yelled at him, "If you ever come back, I'm putting a bullet in between your eyes, giving you a third one, bastard. Don't you dare to come back." I love this part. She had really big ovaries to say and do all of this. I just can't. It's just so funny because I can't imagine, well, back then, of course, but I can't imagine a kid of now of like 4 years old saying, first of all, saying that and then holding again while saying that. But yeah, it's just a funny picture, but honestly, it was very dangerous in the moment. It's kind of bad that I'm making fun of it. It's just funny, but also empowering. Okay. So it was, yeah, don't you dare to come back. He left, and I demanded my mom to put the coffee on, to make me some cups because of it. I was gonna take guard all night by the door to make sure we were protected. My mom, in disbelief, just looked at me and followed my orders. I stayed up all night that night. He never came back. The sun rose, and people were making a fuss by the channel near our home. I asked my mom to go check what it was all that fuss about. My mom refused to go because she was still afraid. I told her to stay home, and I went to see what was going on. It was the lady, the wife of the guy that harassed my mom. The lady was wearing the same clothes from the day before. He escaped and was never heard of again. I remember thinking throughout the night how badly he had the need for blood in his eyes. After checking after checking that channel and seeing that body, I can now say what I thought was true, and so he did. I'm grateful to my father for teaching me how to use the pistol and that I was able to protect and defend my mom and I, because otherwise it would have been us in that channel in the morning and not his wife. This reminds me of the Proverbs from the Bible, Proverbs 18:21, that says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." It's just a saying that whatever you say, you're speaking it over you. So if you speak badly about you, well, guess what? Bad things are gonna happen. If you speak good things about you, you're gonna become better. You know, it's like also the inner dialogue, you know, like when you talk to yourself, how you talk to yourself, what you believe about you, how capable you think you are about things. There was a story a long time ago, I'm pretty sure it's very known to a lot of people, about how one guy got the wrong results on the SATs, and he was like the smartest guy, but turns out that the results were given incorrectly. Years passed without them knowing. He had already made a business, he had already had companies, he was a millionaire, but before that SAT mistake, he was failing all of his classes, okay? So he believed he could, because of one mistake that turned out for good in his life. Imagine all the things that we can do if we believe that we can, and that we deserve those things, and that we are actually able to have good things. Because I feel that like our generation, we were so predisposed to think that we don't deserve the good things, that we had to work for things, and that unexpected things were not something usual in your life, something regular in your life. So I really think that we really need to be careful about how we talk about ourselves, about others, what we say, what we put into that their life. Number 4 is called finding the courage to start from zero. It's also from an anonymous. It says, 66 years ago, my grandma had her fifth child. He was born with a very dark skin due to my grandma's dad, whom also had a very dark tone of skin, as we come from a family that was very mixed, where there were a lot of different types of natives, even Asian relatives. The dad, very ignorant and racist, decided to reject the child because of his skin tone. And he will get violent with my grandma, saying that that wasn't his child, even though they were alike in all features except skin color. My uncle, only having a few days of being born, was thrown to the nearest river. And my mom, having just been released from the hospital after having third-degree burns and with intensive care and therapy, jumped to the river to save her baby brother. My grandma Paloma thought to herself, if I stay, my kid will die. So she decided it was time for her and her kids to leave the father of her babies and began action into an unknown territory of single parenting, especially around that time. She took what they could carry and went to the train with her 5 children. When the train started going, her eldest child hopped off the train, and since she couldn't leave the younger ones alone, she had to keep on going, leaving her eldest behind. Once she got a little settled in the town where she was born, she managed to get some money together and went back to see if her eldest was there. But unfortunately, her eldest left for the States and didn't leave a way of communication behind. She was at ease because she at least knew where he was and that he was okay. As years kept on passing by, she never stopped going every vacation looking for her eldest to the house of her ex. At one point, their eldest even stopped communication with the dad. She knew who his friends were, so whenever they will move, she will leave her address in case he ever came back and wanted to be reunited. Time passed, but she never stopped looking for her eldest. After years of struggle and constant suffering for the loss of her eldest and having to start from zero in another town with no help and very little family, unexpectedly, she found a blessing during her storm. A guy named Don Jesus that took care of her four children that weren't his, plus one that did. I guess they ended up having one kid together. He gave them a home, a family, a father that could give them love, values, and respect. In peace he rests, Don Jesus Beltran. They lived happily while simultaneously sad by the loss of her kid and sibling they had. Paloma passed away after having a life of nurture and love with the help of knowing or hearing of her elders again. I really don't like when families get divided. I had experienced it myself, so I'm not a mother, but I can't even imagine what this lady had. She never knowing of your kid and knowing that there was nothing you could have done. I have no words. All I can say is just I'm happy that she had a better relationship, because it's really hard coming from a broken heart and finding something better than what you had before. It's very sad, but at the same time very loving. It's like finding a refuge when you have endured so many things and so much sadness. It's like a happy ending, but also a sad one. There's gotta be a balance. I'm just kidding. No, but I wish it would have had a happy ending. It did, but it also had a sad one, so I have mixed emotions with this. Number 5. It's called When God Speaks Through You. When God speaks to you through a gut feeling, you must listen and take action. This is not anonymous. It's from Andrea from Mexico. It says, everything started when Andrea. Sorry, Andrea. I'm just gonna say it how I know. Everything started when Andrea was only 10 years old. Her and her grandma went to the farm as a weekend trip. Excuse me. Her cousin, a friend of theirs, and Andrea, I don't know, were playing outside while all of the women were inside having fellowship. While they were playing, her uncle, a guy married into the family, asked Andrea to come and get on his truck. She didn't like it because his daughter was right there, so she thought, why isn't he asking her to come but me? She also noticed he had more drinks than what he could handle, so she started feeling unsafe, and something inside her kept telling her not to go near him. After Andrea refused a couple of times to his wants, he asked her friend to come and sit with him. She was going to go, but Andrea stopped her and said, no, don't go. I don't like this. His daughter is here, why isn't he calling her? The uncle started growing mad, so he got into the truck and tried getting them. They started running, but since Andrea's friend was younger, she was 10, and Andrea was 10 and her friend was 8. He ended up catching up to her, and Andrea came back to not leave her alone. Once they were in the car, he drove to a nearby neighbor, a friend of his, and yelled, hey, I got 2 right here. One for you, one for me. Come on, hop in. Let's go to the fields. This is so disgusting. His friend hops in, and before they take off, he says, wait a minute. We're gonna need some socks. Bags for later. His friend gets out of the car and starts looking for the socks. I guess at one point, the uncle ended up doing that too. Andrea says to her friend, this is the time, let's go. But her friend, being afraid, says, no, let's stay here. Andrea pushes her over and pulls her once off the car. Pulls her off the car to keep on running with her. It was very dark and we're able to hide in some bushes. While these guys kept looking for them, they sat quietly in the hopes to not be found by those monsters. After looking for them for a while, they gave up, and the uncle said to his friend, let's go, we'll find more along the way. Once Andrea didn't hear or see the truck anymore, decided it was safe to get back to the farm with all of the women in the house. They got in and didn't say nothing. They didn't have any words to explain or comprehend what was going on, what was going to happen that night. They only knew they were safe with the other women inside the house. By divine justice, the guys were found unalive in a canyon near the farms. A neighbor was the one that brought the news to their family, assuring they had fallen into the deepest of the canyon and were confirmed to be unalive. Even until this day, Andrea believes that if they wouldn't have taken their chance to run, they would have been doing company to them in that truck, in that canyon without a life to live. This is very important. I also have been in situations where I feel it's not safe. Sometimes I have ignored it, but thanks God nothing else has happened of this degree. Actually, yeah. It will be another time where I tell you guys about that story. It was very scary, but I have to make sure that the other people that were involved are okay with me sharing it. All I gotta say is do listen to your intuition when it's telling you something is not good, because a lot of the times it's God talking to us through our gut feeling, through our intuition, and it's Him letting us know that we must go, that we're not in a safe place, and that we have to run, literally. And like in this story. Either way, it's been a blessing being here, telling these stories. Thank you for sending them, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Blessings.